Okay, Charles, you're good to go.
Okay, so before we start the meeting, I would like to read a land acknowledgement. The land on which we meet has been here for time immemorial. People have inhabited Southern Ontario for about 10,000 years, and we acknowledge the neutral people, also called Attawandaron, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee, people who lived here when settlers arrived and who share this land with us. May we together learn to care for and respect each other, our flora and fauna, and the land we inhabit together. I'd like to remind the committee and the members of the public that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed to the township's YouTube channel. This meeting is being held electronically due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Precautions and measures are in place regarding social distancing to ensure the health and safety for those in attendance at the municipal office. Anyone who's registered to participate in this meeting will be invited to speak in the order of applications being heard. I will now do a roll call of the committee for the benefit of the public watching this meeting. When I call your name, please wave at your camera and say here or present. I, Charles Zeidler, am chairing and present in the meeting. Committee members and staff, Tim Cronin.
I'm here.
Linda Dixon.
Here.
Hans Potcamper.
Here.
And Jim Burley.
Here.
And then we have David Gundrum, the planner.
Here.
And Nancy Thompson, the recording secretary. Great. I will provide a brief explanation of the procedures for this meeting. Each application will be read by Nancy, and she will ask each applicant to make a brief presentation, not to exceed 10 minutes. The committee will be given an opportunity to question the applicant. Any other person who has registered with the recording secretary and is wishing to address an application either for or against will then be given the opportunity to speak. Please make sure you have turned on your microphone and video and identify yourself clearly for the recording secretary. After everyone has had an opportunity to speak, the committee will make a decision on the application. Once discussion on your application is complete, please mute your microphone and turn off the video. You are free to leave the meeting at this time or remain and listen to the balance of the applications. The applicants are advised that each application has a 20-day appeal period as required under the Planning Act. The last day of appeal for applications heard today is July 7th, 2022. So at this time, I will ask any members of the committee if they are declaring a pecuniary conflict of interest with any of the applications today.
No.
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 Okay, so that's no for everybody. So then I will ask Nancy to read the application description.
Thanks, Charles. The application this evening is for minor variance application A14-2022 for Daniel Mose for the property at 15 Floorpine Road in Floridale. The property is zoned settlement residential and contains a single detached dwelling and an accessory shed. The applicant is proposing to construct a full second-story addition, being approximately 75.6 square meters in area to the existing dwelling, and is requesting relief from the following. Section 8.3.1 to recognize the existing lot area of approximately 790 square meters, whereas 1,390 square meters is required. Section 8.3.2 to recognize the existing lot width of approximately 20 meters, whereas 30 meters is required. And section 4.1.4b to permit the enlargement of the existing dwelling by approximately 35% of the total floor area, whereas the bylaw limits the maximum to 25% for a dwelling on a legal non-conforming property. And Mr. Mose is here to address the committee if they have any questions. And Daniel, if you want to just make a brief presentation if you have one, or add any additional information.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you, committee, for being present and allowing me to speak. Essentially, the only thing I just would like to add would be we're not looking to change the envelope of the building as far as the the outside dimensions, essentially just going straight up with the second story addition. Everything else that was said is on point, and thank you for reading that, Nancy.
Okay, do any members of the committee have any questions for the applicant? Linda?
Hi. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the applicant. Just curious, is there any additional washrooms or anything being proposed for the second story, or is it just other bedrooms and things like that?
No additional bathrooms. We're proposing adding 2 bedrooms on top of what are already there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Anybody else have any questions for the applicant? Not looking like it. Does the committee have an idea of how they want to handle this one, or? Linda?
Mr. Chairman, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Excellent. Thank you.
I move that minor variance application A14 2022 concerning the property known municipally as 15 Flora Pine Road for relief to permit enlargement of the existing dwelling by approximately 35% of the total floor area, whereas the zoning bylaw limits the enlargement of a legal non-conforming residential building to 25% of the floor area. Secondly, to recognize an existing lot area of approximately 790 square meters, whereas the R1 zone requires a minimum lot area of 1,390 square meters. And to recognize an existing lot width of approximately 20 meters for the subject property, whereas the R1 zone requires a minimum lot width of 30 meters. And all of those subject to the applicant, all the approved, subject to the application being carried out and being consistent with the submitted site plan drawings dated March 29th, 2022, prepared by JB Drafting and Design.
Great, thank you, Linda. And do we have
I'll
a seconder
second
for that? Thanks, Hans. So that's the seconder. And then all in favor of that? Okay, so that's everyone. So all opposed, that's no one. Yeah, so then just to remind you of the appeal period expires on July 7th, 2022, and then your motion has been passed.
Daniel, I will email the
Thank you
decision. Go ahead, Daniel.
Go ahead. Just want to thank the committee for their help.
Thanks, Daniel. So I'll email out the decision to your attention, and then you can follow up with the building permit staff accordingly. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all the applications tonight, Charles.
Okay, so then for the minutes, have the committee members had an opportunity to review the minutes as circulated for the previous meeting held on May 17th, 2022? And if so, are any changes required? Not looking like it. Somebody can move that, please.
I'll move.
Thanks, Hans. And do we have a seconder?
Sure, I'll
Tim?
second that motion.
Thanks, Tim. So those minutes have been moved. And as there is nothing further to discuss, I would declare, oh, sorry.
We do all in favor?
Oh, all in favor? Looks like everybody. So those meetings are passed. And then as there's nothing now further to discuss, I would declare the Committee of Adjustment meeting to be adjourned.
Perfect. We did have, David does have a little bit of an update just on the OLT. It's not necessarily new business, but we've kind of added this other business just kind of to keep the committee informed of what's going on with the application. So I'll hand it over to David.
Great, thanks, Nancy. Yeah, just to update the members, as you recall, we had the appeal that was filed regarding the Marlborough industrial severance on 50 Martins Lane. That goes back to the decision from the November meeting of 2021. So we notified the OLT notified the township of their decision on May 24th, and that decision was notified to the committee on May 25th. So the OLT did grant and approve the consent for the lot addition subject to 4 conditions. So that went out to the committee again back on the 25th for notification. Just if anyone had any questions or wanted to discuss anything to do with that, just having that brought up tonight if anyone had a question on that or any point of discussion. So
Okay.
And the second matter that concerns the OLT, so this was from our April meeting. It was the combined consent and minor variance for 793 Sawmill Road. That was for Mr. David Wright. So this was a consent to partition the existing house on the property from a landscaping business. The Regional Waterloo appealed this decision concerning the modified condition for record of site condition. So the modified condition that came out of that meeting concerned that a record of site only be pursued for the severed lands and not for the retained lands as well. The severed lands contain the house, the retained lands contain the landscaping business use. The Regional Waterloo filed an appeal on May 27th. The OLT acknowledged that appeal today, actually. So the region is appealing the matter concerning that condition, that it did not include both severed parcels requirement for record of site condition, and they quoted both regional official plan policies as well as township OP policies and the region's implementation guidelines as part of that that notice filing for an appeal. So so we're waiting to hear back from the OLT, but they have notified that they received that appeal.
I'll be waiting very interestingly for that decision because there's no development proposed. So that will be interesting to see what they do with that one. Thanks. Thanks
Yep.
for that, David.
Yep, you're welcome, Linda. I'm curious to see too, because it's there's existing buildings, there's no change of use, no change in land use permission, so